There are certain capacities that every human being possesses and certain ones that we do not. Yet, after the gift of faith, there is no favor greater than the blessing of good health. It is through health that strength, movement, and opportunities are open to us. But what if Allah decreed for someone a different path? A life where physical strength weakens, where mobility is limited, where the body does not function in the way one desires? Though health is a blessing easy for us to appreciate, illness and disability are also blessings in disguise, carrying with them immense reward. Good health is something we can identify in ourselves almost instantly, while sickness is one of the easiest hardships to recognize in others, even in complete strangers. Yet, when it is witnessed in someone close to us, it becomes particularly difficult to process. Within the story of a single person living with disability or illness, Allah may unfold something extraordinary for that individual and for all those around them directly as a result of that condition. The very same Prophet ﷺ who said that after faith no blessing is greater than well-being, also instructed us not to curse or insult any form of sickness, even something as small as a fever, because fever works to burn away sins. Allah the Most High declares His closeness to those who are ill. And to encourage compassion, the Prophet ﷺ informed us that 70,000 angels accompany the one who goes to visit someone sick. If this is the reward of the visitor, then what about the one who dedicates themselves to serving the ill person constantly day and night? The trial of illness or disability is not a test confined to the individual alone, it extends to the entire household. The patience, sacrifice, and devotion shown by loved ones over months or even years are precisely recorded by Allah, and these acts become an immense chance for faith to grow and for noble character to develop. Although such trials may unite families and strengthen bonds, they can also be difficult, as loved ones witness the vulnerability and mortality of those they believed would remain strong forever. Yet this very vulnerability is a reminder of our shared purpose and the certainty that all of us will one day reach the same state of fragility. For the one who acquires illness or disability later in life, the struggle is even more pronounced. Adapting to a very different life than the one envisioned, seeing the doors of certain ambitions close before one's eyes, can be traumatic. However, even this is encompassed within the divine decree of Allah. Sometimes, such circumstances are decreed to elevate a person to a higher purpose or to make them an example of perseverance for others going through similar or even greater trials. They may be the reason a child grows up with humility and gratitude rather than arrogance and superficiality, or they may be the catalyst that moves a community to become more inclusive and supportive of people with disabilities. And at times, the simple patience, gratitude, and steadfastness a believer shows in the midst of calamity can become their guaranteed path to paradise. A remarkable example comes from Urwa ibn Zubayr rayallahu anhu. After returning from a journey, he was informed that his beloved son, Muhammad, had fallen from a great height and passed away. His immediate response was, "Alhamdulillah, Allah gave me 7 children and He only took one." Soon afterward, he himself was afflicted with a severe infection in his leg, leading to its amputation. At that time, he again proclaimed, "Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, I had 4 healthy limbs, and Allah only took one." Then he uttered the profound supplication, "O my Lord, when you have taken, you have also left me with so much. And when you have tested me, you have still granted me health in other ways." Despite all this hardship, it was narrated by Imam Az-Zuhri rahimahullah that Urwa still recited his portion of Quran that very night and stood in prayer, offering his nightly worship. Subhanallah, such resilience is a lesson for every generation. It brings to mind the man in Gaza, Khalid, who comforted a young girl who had lost her leg by telling her, "Don't worry, my dear. Your leg has already gone ahead to Jannah." This profound reassurance demonstrates how sometimes the loss of a limb in this world is the means for the believer to soar spiritually. Indeed, when worldly wings are clipped, it is often then that the believer learns to fly in ways previously unimaginable. Physical disability can become the very condition that makes a person spiritually healthier, and raises their ranks in the sight of Allah to heights they did not know were attainable. In truth, the truly disabled are not those whose bodies falter, but those who are spiritually deaf, blind, and mute hearts that neither see nor hear the truth. When Ibn Abbas riyallahu went blind, he beautifully said, "If Allah removes the light of my eyes, then in my tongue and my hearing He has still left me with light." When Qatada rahimahullah was asked why blind people seem to possess such deep insight, he responded, "Because their vision has been redirected inward into their hearts." Such perspectives illustrate how loss of one faculty may be compensated with heightened insight, wisdom, and inner clarity. I also recall the words of my own mother, may Allah have mercy on her. When she lost part of her hearing, she remarked that she could now sit in gatherings peacefully and say, "Alhamdulillah, Allah has spared me from hearing gossip and backbiting." What a profound outlook. For the earliest generations, the true disability was understood to be the inability to perceive Allah's greatness and mercy, not the loss of any worldly faculty. The companions and early believers saw every trial as an opportunity to seek reward and align with their ultimate purpose. For some, the blessing was in what Allah enabled them to give, like the generosity of Uthman ibn Affan radiyallahu anhu, whose abundant charity earned him the Prophet's guarantee of paradise. For others, it was in what Allah withheld or tested them with, such as the woman who suffered from seizures and was promised Jannah because of her patience. Looking around at the Prophet's own community, we see how inclusive it was of people with all kinds of conditions. His Mu'adh-ad-Din, Abdullah bin Maktoum, was blind. The great female warrior Nusayba radiyallahu anha lost her arm in battle. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anha was extremely short and bow-legged. Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah lost his teeth when he pulled the helmet from the Prophet's blessed face at Uhud, leaving him with a lisp. Does our community today resemble the prophetic community? Allah even corrected His beloved Prophet when he frowned upon the blind man, and the Prophet instructed his people not to stare at those with leprosy or skin conditions in a manner that would make them feel despised. A woman with mental illness once approached him crying out for help, and the Prophet replied, "O so-and-so, choose whichever path you would like, wa'anda, and I will walk with you and fulfill your need." This was the prophetic model, a community that saw the unique blessings and challenges of each individual and uplifted them together, aiming for that ultimate place where no disability remains. Sometimes Allah, in His wisdom, withholds a worldly blessing such as a limb or sense from a servant in this life, but He will not deprive them of it in a far more perfected and eternal form in Jannah. Nonetheless, it is only natural that no one wants to feel excluded in this world, unable to pursue their aspirations fully. Believers, however, often feel this sense of exclusion not in worldly matters, but in opportunities to perform good deeds. The companions were among the most eager to seize every chance to do righteous actions, regardless of the cost, yet sometimes their physical condition prevented them. At Badr and Uhud, young teenagers pleaded with the Prophet ﷺ to allow them to join, but he turned them away because they were not physically ready. During the expedition of Tabuk, a group of companions who could not afford the journey wept as the Quran described. They turned away, with their eyes overflowing with tears out of grief that they could not find anything to spend in the cause of Allah. Think also of those who today cannot fast due to chronic illness like diabetes, or those who are unable to prostrate and taste the sweetness of placing their forehead on the ground. Allah's mercy is not withheld from them. Rather, He assures them their reward is complete and they are not deficient. This demonstrates a vital truth in Islam. Abilities are secondary, intentions are primary. What matters most is what is in the heart. Even beyond disabilities, the principle applies universally. One might look around and wonder why another person learns more quickly, or is physically stronger, or more capable in some field. Yet those very gifts may become a path to arrogance. Physical strength can breed pride, and intellectual brilliance can lead to conceit. In reality, his arrogance blinded him, and he became a fool by failing to recognize that all his talents were bestowed by Allah. Allah reminds us again and again that where one ability is withheld, another blessing is granted in its place. Every believer must open themselves to seeking Allah's pleasure in every form, asking Him for guidance to heights they may not even know exist.